Hello everyone, my name is Zuzana and welcome to my Piano Promise channel dedicated to help you to learn how to play piano. This course, Piano for Beginners, is just for you. This is my session number 4 and I'm going to talk about scales, very important and popular subjects in learning and playing not just piano but music. So in this session I'm going to talk about scale, what actually scale means. I'm going to give you a very brief understanding of major and minor scales. Then I'm going to talk about scales when we play them in a similar motion and contra motion and what it means, and when we play them and when we play scales in ascending way and descending way. And then I'm also going to teach you how to play C major scale. It's the first scale I think everybody is learning, but also I would like to show you how I'm teaching this scale to my students, because there are many ways how we can approach it. I'm going to share my way and the way I found probably the easiest and the most effective in learning, because many students, and I teach adult students, they just are so keen to learn the scales, and I always say it's great to learn scales, very important technically and for understanding about the music and fundamentals of music, but it's the right time when it comes to learning the scales, especially when it comes to learning not just hands separately, but when it comes to hands together. But let's just talk about it step by step. So firstly, scale. So scale is actually playing 8 notes, and also it has it's the name for the scale is Latin is ladder. So it's like going up the ladder and going down the ladder. So when we talk about, for example, C major scale, when we play it, we have 8 notes, but we will go through it and we will cover it a bit later. So now we talk about, we talk about major and minor scales, and we know that major and minor scales are 2 main groups, and then major scales have scales with sharps and flats. So we talk about key signature of the scale. The same with minor. So there are many scales to learn, and that's not what I would like to talk about in this session. It will be just too much, so let's just go to basics. So in my previous sessions I was talking about chords and how we can recognize major and minor chords not knowing anything about the chords, and it's about the sound and it's about the mood. So when we play major chords and we listen to major chords, they sound happy and lively and bright, and when we talk about minor chords we talk about sad and more melancholic. That's exactly how I hear and understand major and minor scales. So major scale sounds happy and bright, and minor scale sounds more probably deeper for me and more melancholic and sad. So now I'm going to demonstrate for you one scale. I'm going to do the one scale everybody does as a first scale, it's C major scale, and I'm going to play it in a few ways, and I'm going to talk about, they have certain names. So I'm going to talk about, I'm going to play C major scale. So remember, every scale, if you talk about C major, it starts on C and it's finishing on C. So every other scale needs to start on the name of the scale. So we are going to C major. I'm starting on C, and I will talk later about how we need to learn the scale, what we need to do in terms of the notes and fingering and everything else. But let's just play it. So this is C major scale, 1 octave going with right and going up and down. So this is when we talk about playing C major or any scale, just playing 1 octave, and I always say in the beginning just really learn 1 octave, easiest way to learn. Then I'm going to play with left hand. Now I'm going to play with both hands, and when I'm going to play I'm going to make the same movements with my hands. I'm going up and I'm going down, so that's what we call similar motion. So so that's similar motion, and then we have something which is called contra motion. So contra motion is that we are sharing one key with 2 of our thumbs, and then we go the opposite direction and back to the same, sharing the same key. So this is called contra motion. Now also we talk, when we are learning the scales, we are talking about when we play the scales going up, it's called ascending, and that's called descending, so going up and down. So the same with both hands. Now when we learn the scales in the beginning, as I said, let's learn them firstly in 1 octave, but then when you are ready, go to 2 octaves. Now I found 2 octaves more effective. It's probably because it's more technical exercise for me as well. And then when, for example, you go for your piano exams, then you need to, and you are more advanced, then you are asked to do 4 octaves. Again, it's because it's a technical exercise. So now I'm going to show you how to play C major scale. My students are so always proud to show me that they can play C major scale, and I'm very proud of them as well. But also through this C major scale, I'm also showing them how to actually learn the scales. And once when you learn it with C major, and this applies the way how you learn it in C major, then you do it with other scales as well. So I always say that firstly we know that we need to know the key signature of the scale. And the key signature of C major is none. So it means that we are only using white keys, and that's why that's probably the easiest scale to learn. So I always show, I will basically go to piano now, and I will show you so all the notes which are part of C major scale. That's the first thing. So I ask all my students to learn the scale saying the letters of this scale. So we will go through it. And then the second step is always to learn fingering. So because each scale has a certain finger order, and you have to know it really well to play the scale correctly. This is where I say to my student, please memorize. We will go through it, so memorize this order. It's really good because you become faster in learning it, and also it's good brain exercise. It's memorizing the numbers. And then of course it's the quality of the sound, how we are going to play it. So let's start. Let's go back to keyboard, and we are going to play C major. So firstly, I'm going to name the notes. I'm not going to use correct number of the fingers. I'm just using one finger. So we have C, then we have D, then we have E, then we have F, then we have G, A, B, and C. Okay, so learn always the numbers, not the numbers, sorry, the notes going up, and now go down. C, B, A, G, F, E, D, and C. Okay, very important. So I always say that's easier because you are just using white keys, but with every scale in the future, really think about it, memorize the name of the keys you are using in this scale, because you will just be clear about what you need to learn. So this is firstly, as I said, that's the letter. Now we are going through the finger numbers, so important when you play the scales, yeah? And then there is certain fingering in each scale. C major, G major, D major, A major, and some minor scales they share the same the same fingering. So then that kind of it's very important, and once when you know this fingering, you can apply it to others. So finger number is which I have always written, is using the in right hand fingers 1, 2, 3. And 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I always find when it's written as a numbers, not above the notes, especially when you can't read the notes, it's a little bit too much. I think it's could be overwhelming for someone who is in the beginning of the learning. But when you see it as a numbers and going up and down, you find it more clear to learn. So I'm going back to the keys. So I'm starting on C and using finger number 1, number 2, number 3, and now the thumb needs to go under. So it's on F, I'm using first finger. Then it's G, second finger, 3, 4, and 5. So I managed to play one scale, one octave. I'm going now down 5, 4, and 3, and 2, and 1, 3, 2, and 1. So that's really the basics. So as I said, firstly learn one octave, and remember, learn it slowly, go step by step, think about each of these notes, think about each of the finger numbers you have to use, and always use the same. It's very important to be consistent in repeating the same finger pattern, so it becomes your muscle memory. Now let's do the same with left hand. So now as right hand is here, like I started from middle C, then I'm going to lower C. Okay, so it's here. So I'm going to do the same thing. Now I forgot to say, so now in left hand obviously we have different finger numbers. So we start with 5, then it's 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2 and 1, and going down. So again, remember, memorize the numbers. 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1, and cross over with third finger, 2 and 1, and go down under 1, 2, 3 and 4 and 5. So this is the way how to learn only one octave. As I said in the beginning, don't worry about anything else. Be really good with that. When you feel comfortable, start playing them together. Now here you have to be really patient and really slow. Don't rush. That's the challenge. This is the always where we get to playing hands together, and I say this is the part where you have to be really patient and just be persistent. Don't get frustrated. Everybody does. And calm down and try again and again, and just be slow, slow, slow. It's the key. Okay. So once when you have hands together, one octave, let's do 2 octaves. So 2 octaves is similar. There is a one difference. So again, I say to everyone, okay, we have the finger numbers. So this is longer version now. And what's important is the same thing. What's changing is one finger. So we go from C again. We have finger number 3 and 1, 2, 3 and 4. Now 5 always represents the end for me, so it's a symbol of the end. So we want to continue. So 1 is continuity. So go again with 1 on C and keep the same finger numbers as in 1 octave and going down. So it's 3, 2, 1. I'm a little bit speeding up, so it's not so boring for you. And now let's go through left hand. So again, memorize the numbers. So then I'm testing my students. I always say, tell me the numbers. Tell me 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and go down. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1, 4, 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 1. And once when you know it, then you will see you will become much faster in learning it. So this is for your right and then left hand, and then you play with both hands. So this is how I'm approaching. So remember one thing. Name the notes of the scale in 1 octave or in 2 octaves if you would like, and then memorize the finger numbers. Very important. When you know it, then you are going to play. Please play very slowly, as I said. And another thing is to play very evenly. It needs to be even. And notice my last note was very soft, because I like when the last note is soft. So it's like finishing a musical sentence. So don't be loud. Sometimes we get excited, like, oh, yes, we can do this. And I hear quite a lot of the last note being strong. And I said, no, do it the other way. Be nice. Listen to the sound. Very important. Always remember evenly, firmly, and listen to the sound, and make sure that you play nicely with the nice and pleasant sound. So I hope that you found this session about the scales useful and helpful, and if you'd like to continue learning with me, please subscribe to my Piano Promise channel. Thank you.